What is going on here? Oh, I didn't see you there. I'm here to tell you about a new game that just came out. It's actually an oldie. It's YuGiOh, but a new style. It's called speed dueling. Do you have to go running and stuff? No, you don't. It's just different because your life points are completely different. It's not the common one that is normally 8,000. We're back into Duelist Kingdom where it was only, well, that was 2,000. This is 4,000. So what was 4,000? Is that one the Seto Kaiba Duel? Seto Kaiba Duel, that makes sense. Whatever tournament that was. But your life is 4,000, and if you ever played Yu-Gi-Oh, you have your draw phase, your standby phase, your main phase 1, your battle phase, main phase 2, and end phase. You lose these two. In this game, in speed dueling, if you ever played Duel Links, it helps tremendously because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make Duel Links into a real card game, which is very affordable because if you try Duel Links, you have to blow so much money to try to get the card you want. I blew, let's say 200 and I got like 1 card out of 3 that I needed to get. Horrible for the app, but now you have real cards. So much cheaper, much easier to attain, and such an interesting style to play with your friends. It's not like the Yu-Gi-Oh nowadays where you will make your board on your first turn, as long as they don't have a hand trap, finish, be like, pass, your turn, and then your opponent's like, well, I bring out that card, solemn, oh, I lost. No, nothing like this. It's a much fun, simple game, and you might like it. So instead of doing a regular box opening, like a bunch of videos are going to be out there, I actually took the time to look at each deck. There's 2 structure decks. Each one brings 3 decks in total because a regular deck in this game is 20 cards. So there's 60 cards in here, 60 cards in here. There's 3 different decks. What I did was grab 3 of these in total, so 6, and made the most competitive decks that I can think of. So since there's 6 different types, I want to show you 6 different decks. Not all in this video because it might be forever, even if it's 20 cards. So I'm gonna show you one that I made recently that I've been having fun playing around. So let's take a look. Alright guys, so before we get into the deck profile, I want to show you the newest mechanic of real life Yu-Gi-Oh! At least in Speed Duel. You got your power cards. There are cards that you get to activate outside the game. They automatically get to start with one of these cards on your side. The reason I'm showing you 2 is because 2 of them activate differently. This one, for example, when it's face down or when it's this side, it automatically says on this card, it says at the start of your duel, place this card in the center of your magic and trap zone and flip it over. So normally in Yu-Gi-Oh you have 5 monster zones and 5 magic and trap zone. In Speed Duel you have 3 monster zones and 3 magic and trap zone. You have a graveyard, a deck zone, and 1 field card, and your fusion deck can only have 5 cards in it, 5 or less. Your deck must contain 20 to 30 cards. It's not like normal Yu-Gi-Oh where it's 40. It has to be 20 or 30, which is very interesting because it's Speed Duel. It's a lot faster. This card, for instance, when you start the duel, it's going to go face down. At the start of the duel, it flips up, and then boom, automatically this one's going to be Tomb World. This is not my deck, but I'm just trying to explain the rules that you get to automatically start with Tomb World. So if you're playing a Tomb World deck, that's kind of cool. You don't even have to worry about drawing the card Tomb World. I like it. For this deck though, this power card, what his ability is when I want to activate it in the duel, I flip it over and reveal what his power is, which is really interesting too because let's say there's 3 different Kaiba picture cards. When I place it face down, they don't know really exactly which ability do I have. Obviously there's going to be stronger than others, but for this one I'm playing the Dragon Caller. Very interesting ability. It makes the game super fun and consistent. This ability is when you flip it over, when you want anytime in your turn, you want to activate this ability, awesome. Flip it over, reveal what your power is, once per duel. So you can only activate this once. Once you flip it over, you activate it, and that's it. You can use the following skill. If you successfully normal summon Lord of D, add 1 Flute of Summoning Dragon card from your deck to the graveyard. Or from your deck or your graveyard, add it to your hand. Awesome. So if I bring out Lord of D, I automatically get his flute. That's just crazy. If this was in real life, this card would have been super good at making dragons consistent. Now it's in speed dueling. His other ability though is if you have Flute of Summoning Dragon in your hand, you can reveal it to add 1 Lord of D from your deck or graveyard. So no matter what, it's so consistent for Lord of D and Flute of Summoning Dragon. So on my turn, when I want to activate this skill, I flip this card over, bam, show him what it is. I bring out Lord of D. If it got negated, whatever the case is, not successful, I'm going to try to use the other one where if I have Flute of Summoning Dragon, I grab Lord of D again to try to make that work. So very consistent, very cool. Now to the deck profile. I understand this is really confusing with power cards, but the more you play, it's so easy to understand how it works. Power cards cannot be negated like skills. We're going to call them skill cards. They can't be negated if they had Solemn Judgment or anything because it's just a card. But once this is on the board, this is considered a skill, but a continuous magic card. Sorry, I'm trying to show if I can point that out. Come on, camera, zoom in. Bam. It shows a continuous magic card. So yeah, you started the game with a Toon World, but if your opponent has anything to remove, like Mystical Space-Time Food, to get rid of this, your skill dies and it goes to the graveyard. Simple. For this one, it's not a field card. This is just a skill that activates and there's no respawn time when you activate this. Your opponent can't do anything. So, very interesting. Now to the deck. Since that power of Dragon Caller is good with Lord of D and Flute of Summoning Dragons, I run 3 Lord of Ds and 2 Flute of Summoning Dragons. Reason why is because it's a 20 card deck and 5 of them revolves around my skill, which I'm not really good in math. I don't know the percentage of it, but 5 and 20, that's 4, that's 1/4. You have a chance to grab either or of the pieces. So if I'm able to summon Lord of D, use a skill, turn 1, just use a skill to grab Flute of Summoning Dragon before my opponent sets anything. And the best thing about this game, guys, the best thing, there's no hand traps. Not yet. If you look at the card pool for Speed Duel, there's not 1 hand trap, so you actually get to enjoy your turn, not worrying. Awesome. So literally turn 1, before my opponent sets anything, I summon Lord of D, I use my skill to search for Flute of Summoning Dragon, then I activate Flute of Summoning Dragon, and hopefully by then I'll have dragons. So let me show you what else I run. Now for the package, for Dragon Caller to be amazing, I run 3 Blue Eyes. Surprise, Kaiba deck, understandable. It's 30k, it's the strongest monster right now in Speed Duel. So it's just solid and it's so consistent to bring out. I also tech just 1 Tyrant Dragon because we never really bring him from the graveyard, but if we flew to summoning him, he's just strong because no trap card that targets him can affect him. There's one really annoying card in the meta, which we're gonna call it meta because right now it's just structure decks to show what you can play with, but one of the best cards is called Dust Tornado, or Wild Tornado, that's what it's called. Wild Tornado, when it gets destroyed, you can target any face-up card on the field and destroy it. Really strong, helps to get rid of the Blue Eyes, but if you bring out Tyrant Dragon, that card can't affect it and you're completely safe. Also, Lord D has an amazing ability already where while he's on the field, your dragons can't be targeted by magic and traps. Really strong, really amazing. So this is, I wanted to show you the best deck that I think possible. I'm gonna show you each deck in every different video, but right off the bat I was like, this deck's too strong, it's Blue Eyes, let's run it. Next I run 3 Kaiba Mans, of course, why not? As long as I have 1 Blue Eyes in hand and I have a Kaiba Man, I can just normal summon this. My opponent has no response, I tribute it to bring out Blue Eyes. Awesome. So, pretty cool, bring out a 3000 beat stick and your opponent has to do something to remove it. If not, Blue Eyes is just gonna win the game. Next card, one that a lot of people do not know about because in regular Yu-Gi-Oh! It was never played, but in Duel Links, it's one of the best cards back then. Back then, because it evolved into a new game where it's slowly becoming like how Yu-Gi-Oh! Is today. But this ability, it's called Blue Dragon Summoner. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 dragon, warrior, or spellcaster normal type monster, normal monster. So as long as they don't have an effect, so Blue Eyes, from your deck to your hand. So let's say you have Flute of Summoning Dragon, Lord D, everything, but you don't have not 1 dragon in your hand. You have to wait a turn where you can set this, and if they kill it, awesome, you get the Blue Eyes, and next turn you can go off. So this is to grab our pieces in case we don't have them in time. Next thing we run is our trap lineup, where it's 5. It's going to be Champion V-Word. I'm sorry, if you guys don't know me, my name is Peter Catani. I'm not a very strong reader, but I know what cards do, so that's what counts. This card is a speed 3, which is really good. There's not a lot of counter cards in the game, and this is one of them, which is very powerful. In Duel Links, it got limited to 1, then right now it's at 2. This card was very strong because Blue Eyes was strong. If you control a level 7 or higher normal monster, when a monster will be summoned or a magic or trap will be activated, negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. So as long as you bring out Blue Eyes your turn 1 and you set this or any amount that you have, you can negate something very powerful your opponent's going to do his next turn. Really unfair, but you know, it's called speed dueling. We want to kill them but the next turn. This card is probably the best protection in this game right now, in this meta, we want to call it. You change all battle position of all face-up monster your opponent controls. So all their attack position monsters trying to go for game go into defense mode. You can play around it a little bit where you have 1 attack position monster and 1 face-up defense position monster. And if you want to attack for game, you can play around it by like swing, and if they activate this as a defense, you switch and you're going to swing with this instead. But it's one of the best cards right now to defend your life points and go to your turn. Alright guys, that was my take of the Blue Eye structure deck that comes in these 2 decks. Bam! Again, there's 6 decks in there. You have Kaiba, Joey, Mai, and then you have Pegasus, YuGiOh, and the Gravekeeper girl. Starts with I, I'm not quite sure. But when you look at all the decks, it's really cool. You have Harpies, Amazons, Red Eyes, Toon World, Dark Magician, Gravekeepers. So many decks you can build off these things. It's really fun. YuGiOh became degenerate, but this is to bring back nostalgia, I think it's the right word, where you're having old school fun. You're like, I can do these combos, and the only cards you can use right now are the ones that come in here. Also, a really cool thing about these cards, and I don't think the camera can catch it, but let's see if you can see this, where there's a shine, bam, it's gonna say Speed Duel. I think I got a little bits on the text. All the cards that come in these things say Speed Duels in visible, like kind of ink. It's kind of like engraved there. That's how you can tell if a card's from that you can play in Speed Duel. I'm sure if you have a normal copy of this, you can just put it in instead of like spending money to grab these. So if you already have it, you check what the card list is, and cool, you play with it. But the only cards that you can play right now in this format are the ones that come in these structure decks. I believe Konami is also trying to go to promote this to become bigger. They're making a whole box set with new singles and stuff, basically reprints of old cards, but new cards that you are able to play for this game. So it's exciting, it's something different. When new games come out, I love trying them out. And yes, this is Yu-Gi-Oh, but it's a new style of Yu-Gi-Oh. Another thing I forgot to mention too, guys, is when you start the game, you only start with 4 cards in hand. Going first, you do not draw. So you only have 4 cards. Pretty cool. Very simple. It's called speed dueling. Games are quite fast but competitive, and this new skills ability makes it super interesting. Try it out, let me know. I'm gonna show the next deck profile next time, but till then, my name is Peter Katani, and I'll see you next time.